So, good morning. We're continuing with the Yemaima on in Likuti Torah Parshas Shelach, and we're discussing the concept of Hanesochim, of libations that were poured on the Mizbeach, libations of wine, primarily, and why was it wine? Why specifically wine? What does it do? What the purpose does it serve? We discussed also the nature of the libation, that when you pour wine on the altar, it goes down. When you place a korban on the altar, the korban goes up, it burns, and goes heavenward. On the other hand, with libations, they go downward. So, similarly, why is it that when a korban is served without libations, it doesn't serve its purpose, and only when it comes with libation, then there is lachmi leishai lechem isha Hashem. Then it becomes a pleasant aroma. It becomes pleasant aroma to Hashem, to God. So we'll continue where we stopped. It says v'yesh b'china memutzas shebechinas atzmi shemechabes hakochos. So this is a connection with what we discussed yesterday about everything in Ruchnius has an inner and outer level and outer level, and the inner level is always directed heavenward, connecting to its source, and the outer level is focusing more on giving to the outside. So inner and outer seemingly are two separate powers and opposite of one another, but nevertheless they dwell together in everything that you see in the world, because without it, I'm saying, meaning besides the inner and outer level, you have intermediary level, memutza, some kind of connector, that it is not ascending like the inner level, and is not descending, and is not giving over like the outer level. Rather, it's connecting, creating some kind of a connection between the inner level that wants to go upward and constantly is connected upward to its source, to its ila, in the language of the Maimah, and the outer levels are constantly want to go down and give. So there's the midah memutzas, there's a middle level in between that kind of connect the two. So this level, the memutza, this intermediary, it's called atzmius. That in every nimtza, in every being, there is this level of atzmius. He's not a mekabel, he's not a taker, and he's not a mashpia, he's not a giver. The concept of being a mekabel, a taker, or being a giver, you have to connect to something else besides yourself. Think about it. Mekabel is a taker, he has to connect with the giver, and a giver, mashpia, has to connect with the person who he is giving to, right? The level that whoever he's connecting with, he's not connected, but it's always something outside of you. Now this middle level, the one that connects the pnimius with the chitzonius, the inner with the outer, is something that is atzmi, that is for itself. It's not going out of itself, so to speak. So the bechina atzmis is what connects the two powers. So that, for example, about what I just said, so So the Mital Rebbe said an interesting point. He says, if you look at the inner level, for example, the inner level we said is constantly going upward to connect to its source, taking from its source. It is a taker. It's always looking to get from its source, to understand that its life is coming from its source, and is always there to take from it. So you'd say, well, but this inner level is not the one that gives. Say, yes, but the inner level is ultimately the outer level takes from the inner level and giving it out. So what is being given out is something from that inner level. Meaning what is given, what shines at the end. It says that especially the time of Simcha, because we connected this whole thing with wine, that wine can bring what is a true Simcha. We said, what is a Simcha? The Mishnah says in Simcha L'Biyah, and Simcha is primarily with wine. But what is a true Simcha? Why wine is associated with Simcha is because wine would help you reveal the conceal. So always Simcha is revealing the conceal. People announce to others that their wives are pregnant. Simcha, revealing the concealed. It wasn't known, now it's known. People reveal that they're getting engaged, revealing the conceal. Right. People reveal that they had maybe a good income coming to them, revealing the conceal. We got a bonus. They won the lottery. They got big bucks. I don't know. Revealing the conceal creates simcha.
Better off my tongue.
But what is the objective of the middle level? The midayim tzois is to connect the two, and by connecting the two, the outer level reveals what is in the inner level. So now I'm reading the text. That was all. V'gimel koichos elu. Now you see what I'm holding. Gimel koichos.
You went down past.
Yeah, after Hanal it says V'gimel koichos elu.
There's a parenthesis.
Okay, so probably it skips a parenthesis. V'gimel koichos elu and bechinas Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. It's the three levels of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Why? Ki Avram bechinas chesed. So Avram is chesed, u'mayim shiudim l'maylo bechinas kerchashpo. Avram is the kerchashpo, the power of giving. Because Avram is chesed. It's like water that comes from a higher place. They're coming down. They're coming down. Bechinas kerchashpo, the power of flow. V'Yitzchak bechinas eish. Yitzchak is the level of fire. Shetiv alalis, that wants to ascend on high. And Yaakov is the connector. Connect the two powers of Chesed and the power of Ashpa and the power of Eish, the power of Yitzchak to go upward. So seemingly over here, they don't say it in these words, but the Avraham is more of the outer level because it wants to constantly give. Yitzchak is more the inner level that goes up to receive, take. And Yaakov is the middle, the one that connects. So the Midam and Mutzaz, the middle level, you have to remember it's called Atzmius. Why is it called Atzmius? Because it has within it the inner and the outer together. Pnimus and Chitzonius together. And that's why Yaakov is called the Bariach HaTichon, the middle beam. Remember in the Mishkan there was a middle beam that connects that connects the planks together. So Yaakov is the Bariach HaTichon because he connects the higher level, which is the level of Yitzchak, the of Pnimius, the Eish, and they connect the Chitzonius to the level of Avram, the Mashpia, the giver. V'zeh Enyan, and it's also hinted in his name. It's not written here, but it's a known concept in Chassidus where it says Yud Akiv. Yud is representing, in Yaakov you have Yud Ayin Kuf Beis. That's how you write Yaakov in Hebrew, Yud Ayin Kuf Beis. Yud, if you separate the Yud from the Ayin Kuf Beis, it comes out to Yud Akiv, Yud and the hill. So Yaakov is taking Chochmah and brings it all the way down the hill. Again, representing the concept of representing concept of chibur, of connecting. V'zeu inyan v'yayin yasamach levav einosh. That's the concept of the wine is going to create, is creating joy. Pirush. Shayayin u'me'er gilui pnimis ha'nefesh minel lagilui. The wine is awakens the pnimis ha'nefesh, the inner most. Mina elam lagil brings something that is concealed, brings it to a state of revelation. That's the concept of simchas halev, the inner simcha, the simcha of the heart that is created through wine. So the wine is not creating a new teva, a new nature in you that was not there. It says, be'emes, in truth, the simcha is something ruchni, is something spiritual, and is not created through the wine. Rather, the wine is only awakens and reveals the pnimus hanefesh, reveals the innermost of the nefesh that by itself does not shine and is not being felt in gufod. But through it descends in an inner level, lamata, downhill, and it's being revealed in the limbs of the body. It says, now let's see what's the story with the wine. It says, what is wine? Wine is something that is hidden in the grapes. Okay?
Yeah.
It's in the grapes, it's hidden. You eat the grapes, you're not tasting wine.
No.
And how does it come out from the concealment? Through crushing, right? Because that's its nature. Since the wine is concealed in it, therefore its nature is to reveal something that is concealed.
You know, I always wondered how it was you went from grapes which weren't like wine, and okay, you crushed the wine, but where does the alcohol come from? And that goes ends up in the wine.
Right.
I always wondered. I had clients. You know, I went to houses where they were making Italians were making wine. I still never fully. I don't know. I think they must have put something in it. No, it was something added.
No, it's the process of fermentation that creates the.
So you don't have to add anything; it just happens naturally. I mean, it's based on then they have a whole thing of different types of grapes, which make it stronger.
I think if you want a very sweet wine, then they maybe add sugar.
Yeah. I hate that's too like Menashe. Oh my god! All right, sorry.
So, the wine itself is something that was initially concealed in the grapes, and ultimately became revealed, and therefore the nature of wine is to do the same thing, is to reveal the concealed. Whoever drinks wine, his face becomes red. If you drink wine, your face becomes red.
Too much.
Right? To reveal the concealed. Why does it show? Why your face becomes red?
The blood comes.
Because that's your pneumus. What is your essence? Is the blood. The blood becomes. Now it's revealed. The blood that was hidden now becomes revealed.
Okay.
The wine awakens. Pnimus hanefesh, pnimus hadam, the inner level of the blood. And Mimela by default it reveals the innermost of the blood, and then by default it also reveals Primus HaNefesh, bless you, Achinus HaMelebesh V'Nefesh Al Primus HaAdam. We spoke about many times that it says Nefesh, it's a pasuk in Parshas Achrei 17:11. It says over there, Nefesh habasar bedam hi, the flesh of the soul of flesh is in the blood. Okay, Nefesh habasar, the flesh of the soul of the flesh is badam hi, it's in the blood. Meaning that the vital soul is enclosed, the vital soul is enclosed in the blood of man to give it life. Right? The vital soul is enclosed in the blood of man to give life to the body. Similarly, when it comes to Primus HaNefesh, is in the blood, but it's concealed and it's not felt in the body in a revealed way. So the wine causes the revelation of the concealed. And if so, through it, you reveal the Pnimius Adam, the innermost of the blood. As a result of this, your face becomes red.
It's not a good thing that it should be like that.
And this also causes simcha that is not limited at all. Now he speaks about what you just said. If somebody drinks too much, you're right. Now he wants to go to sleep. Physically, he falls asleep. There's too much revelation of the concealed. And the vessel cannot handle Gilu Primus, too much light, too much revelation of the concealed, of the hidden. Is knocked out, goes to sleep. That's why a person has to drink responsibly. There's not going to be too much. He wants conversation to flow, fine, but if he's going to reveal too much, it's going to be TMI.
Right.
TMI might lead him to do.
That's where you got the whole soda business from.
Right.
That's where we had a problem last week with this stupid guy in Atlanta.
So that leads us to the next part of this Maimer, where he explains the concept of the lechem. Why korbanos are called lechem? Why calling korbanos lechem? Who is eating it? We said there's two achilas: the achilas mizbeach, consumption of the mizbeach, and the consumption of the kohen, or the one who brings the korban. Says, what is a maichol? What do you do by eating? You're connecting the life of the nefesh with the body. Right? The body, the Rambam writes it in that in our bodies there's a little fire. The fire has to stay going, to stay burning in order for a person to be alive. What keeps the fire going? You give it food. If you put too much food, it's like putting too much wood on the fire. What do?
Yeah.
You put out the fire.
Right.
If you give it enough, the fire is burning well, you have good energy. You have energy to go. He says, same thing over here. The purpose of food is to connect the soul with the body. What happens if somebody didn't eat for a week? He's about to die.
Right.
You give it a little bit of food, he wakes up.
Right.
He suddenly has energy again.
It's amazing after Yom Kippur, you have a couple of things and boom.
So the pe'ulas ha'maichol, the activity of food is to connect the nefesh with the body. Agam shebekeach hanefesh atzmi shkach is pashtus de'achos haguf. Nefesh itself has the power of dissemination, to disseminate throughout the body and to give life to the body. Afal pichein, but nevertheless, eino poel pulos al de'alechem. It doesn't do it. Meaning, it doesn't bring you life without the bread. You have to have some food in order for the nefesh to disseminate, to give life to all the limbs. This is a pasuk in Tilim Kuf Daled. We mentioned this before. Lechem levav enosh isad. The heart is also being satiated by bread. Uchsiv esadu levavchem. This is in Parshas Vayero. Sadu libchem. Ein pirush Rashi pirush lechem sedu males alev lekabel achas me'amelech. Rashi explains over there in Parshas Vayero 18:5. He writes that alechem soya, the food sustains, umales alev, and elevates the heart to receive chayos from the brain. We'll continue this, but that's the Enyan of food in general.